Okay. I kind of want to like let the stuff that we just talked about the state marinate a little bit. Can we talk about the actual merits of the charges for a bit?
Sure,
So I mull over what you're talking about.
sure. Um, we'll, uh, we'll start with probably the more simple one here. Is going to be the 3 times attempted murder of a government employee. Um,
Hmm. Okay. Let's look for casings and documentation on this then.
yeah, I mean it's
This blood. Here's casings. Positive DSR test.
hmm,
Where is it in here?
6-9. It's clearly in his possession.
Did he actually provide like a defense as to why he should open fire? Because I don't actually remember that question being acknowledged or asked. He check us that.
Yes, it was. So it was actually Bones that opened fire first. Because it was testified to that Soze raised the weapon to Bones, and Bones shot out of officer safety,
Okay.
and then and then Soze returned fire.
Yep, I have that in my notes right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
not really contested.
Uh.
Now, uh, did he? I think the evidence is present here based on what I'm looking. We have a number of blood samples. Um, we have articulation specifically from witness testimony from both Bones and Crane, that Bones, Crane, and just the one that was incapacitated again. Let me go back to my note.
I want to see this picture in full 4K.
Loki's Sky Lizard was the officer that was shot and incapacitated.
Dang, he deemed himself the overseer, chat.
So, 3 people. Um,
Yeah, yeah, everything here checks out for that on me.
I want to talk to you about criminal possession of a Class 2 firearm.
Okay.
Um, and I want to raise this because another judge raised it to me before this case was heard.
Okay.
Um, criminal possession of a Class 2 firearm.
He has a weapons license!
Did Kale Soze ever have a weapons license?
He has one. It's on his record.
So he's got a weapons license. That was given to him by Judge Gatsby
Yeah,
on
Gatsby
May
gave it to
20th.
him.
Okay. We look at our weapons license guidelines, legislation.
Oh my god. Is he about to get
Um,
off?
and you know that the legislation
Oh,
for the weapons
what?
license
Wait.
does not inherently specify what a legal possession of what a legal firearm is.
Mm.
Now, on the other hand, the charge for criminal possession of a Class 2 firearm is pretty clearly defined as any, I believe it's possession of any shotgun or automatic firearm.
Yep. Mm.
But
But that's what a
the
class
first
2
part,
firearm is qualified as, not an
that's what
illegal
it's qualified
firearm.
as. But the charge just read possesses an illegal Class 2 firearm without a license.
Oh,
He's got a
shit.
license.
He does have a license, so he would not
Is
meet.
there anything that clearly articulates that M4 is legal?
No, there's not.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
no,
now we
so.
so now we got to talk about again letter and spirit of the law. Class 2 firearm is defined as any shotgun or automatic firearm. Our weapons license guidelines uh, again, do not inherently spell out what a class one or class. The penal code spells out what the classification of the weapon are. But the guidelines for the weapons license itself do not inherently say that all
Mm.
class 2 firearms are illegal. And I didn't hear any arguments about where he got it from or why it's legal.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, you know me, I'm a really big letter of the law kind of person. And in my personal opinion, even though we might consider an M4 assault rifle an illegal weapon in our common understanding of how it should be applied, I I feel like the law is important, and technicalities aren't always just technicalities and get out of jail free cards, but they are also are important details that we need to consider. And based off of my reading on this, even if that M4 is an illegal firearm, and he does have a license, it would therefore stand to reason he would just be possessing an illegal Class 2 firearm with a license, which is not illegal as defined here. So I am kind of torn on that one because it's an illegal firearm per the definition, but he also didn't
Is
meet the
it?
definition. Yes, because a Class 2 firearm. Well, actually, I guess you're right. It's not defined as an illegal firearm. It's not. It's just
A
classified
class 2
as a
firearm
Class
is
2
defined.
firearm. Yeah, it's
It
defined
is
as a
not
Class
clear.
2
It is not
firearm.
right. It is not
So
defined anywhere that all class 2 firearms
in
are
my
illegal.
opinion, based off of the facts and circumstances surrounding this, he was in possession of a ambiguously registered or not registered firearm that is not inherently illegal with a license, which would not meet the burden of proof for criminal possession of a Class 2. That's just my opinion, though.
Okay. Rebuttal. Going more towards the spirit side of
Troopers
things.
stand together, chat.
We all know that getting a weapons license means that you are allowed to purchase a legally owned firearm.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen an ammunition sell an M4?
No, I have not.
Okay, so that draws the question: where did he obtain this legally purchased firearm?
I mean, I don't think that it really matters because we can't figure that out and we can't know from the evidence that's provided before us. You know? Like, he could have got it, an alien could have dropped it from a box in the sky. He could have stolen it from the police department. He could have had it for years. Like, where it comes from is not something that we can ascertain from the evidence in front of us.
Hmm.
I mean, I will just say, you know, I think it's more likely that he just had this gun laying around from his ex experience as a police officer, because back in the day, it was incredibly common for police officers to keep their Class 2 weaponry in their personal possession. I myself happened to have a Class 3 weapon that I kept for personal use, that I was licensed by the state to have, that I kept in my own personal property, which if my cars hadn't been repossessed, I still have it. So it's actually relatively common.
So you got to keep an AWM too, or an M14?
The AWM is what it was. And yes, I did. It was issued to me by the
okay.
state.
You and at least yours was state issued.
Right, but what I'm getting at here is that the point that I'm trying to make is that it's more likely that this cop gun is just a leftover from his experience as a police officer. And even if he did buy it illegally off the street, we have no way to know that for sure. And all of this is just kind of speculation.
It is. Which is inherently what the spirit of the law asks to do.
All right, well.
So I agree with your point. I think it's also valid that Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know if we can find him guilty of criminal possession of Class 2 firearm.
I don't either, but that also concerns me because that means that he's going to ask for this gun back after the case, and he's probably going to go shoot everyone down with it.
Yeah. So let's see what we can do here with that. I don't know. I think we might have to go back to jurisprudence on that too. Clarify that.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Let's go back and go to the other charges.
Yeah, we'll circle back to that one. I I mean, the resisting arrest and the joyriding charges seem pretty cut and dry to me. If he didn't have permission from Bones to be driving his vehicle and he was operating it, even if he believes it to be safer to take it one place to another, I don't really think that argument's really. I don't think that argument's actually very reasonable, even because even if it were the case that he believed it not to be safe in the middle of the road, why would he operate the vehicle and take it without the training or proper authorization to be driving the vehicle? I don't buy it personally, and I don't think that it's going to work for me. So I am guilty. Would rather go for guilty for resisting arrest and joyriding.
So you don't think there's any water to the vehicle supposedly not being. No, that's not an argument. That's not an argument that we
I
should
don't really
entertain.
think that his argument is something that even on an affirmative defense I would entertain because it's just nonsense. I thought that the vehicle was unsafe there, so I dropped into the driver's seat and drove it 3 miles away and then parked it and then walked inside the building. I I don't me personally, I don't really buy the argument. I don't really think it makes any sense. You left someone stranded on the side of the road, basically knowingly.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that it's gonna work for me. So it doesn't hold water. In my opinion.
Further, even though the vehicle was shared, right? It was not Bones's personal. That is the other half of the argument was making, is it was a shared vehicle. Is
right.
Bones the owner, and can he prove consent? To which, even if the answer to that were to be no, the affirmative defense kicks in, and did he get the actual owner to say yes or no or otherwise? Which that's not present here. So I think that actually makes that one a lot more simple.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess that just leaves one biggie.
Treason.
Treason, yeah. So,
whoever engages in and or incites others to participate in rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the state of San Andreas. The authority of the state of San Andreas shall be considered for the purposes of this statute to include the Senate that no longer exists and or the laws of the state. Shall include anyone who attempts to secede from the state by way of sovereign land claims or annexation. Let's go piece by piece.
Sure.
Engages in or incites others to participate in rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the
some
state.
Of the evidence here.
Best as I can tell, this case is brought, and I'm trying to compartmentalize this case and the evidence that is here. Because of a drawing or sign or quote-unquote legislation, some scramblings that he decided to put on the outside of the Blaine County Sheriff's Office pertaining to state and sovereign pertaining to authority and whatnot. Let's get that pulled up here.
Where's the picture?
And just read it out here.
The picture, where did I
kind
put
of
it?
Almost reads like a manifesto, if you ask me. Kale Soze owns this. Signed, State Officer Kale Soze. No one can make laws in Sandy Shores and its surroundings all the way down to Los Angeles City border that we do on Paleto and North as well. Thank you, signed me. Kale Soze can change anything he wants whenever he wants. Fuck the people
did
and
he
make it
affirm that he wrote this?
Yes. That was testified to by Declan Crane, who stated that during the interrogation, Soze did admit to writing it
Okay.
under Miranda.
I mean, it does kind of read like a manifesto and like his own mini constitution. He's claiming to be a state officer. He's claiming authority over Polito in the north. And he's claiming
No
to be
one
the
can change this
overseer
unless
of the
on
state
purpose.
of San
Right, overseer
Andreas for
kills that.
life.
Well, and he's here where overseer state of San Andreas for life. Yells as a is the law.
I think we should 5150 this nut job, chat.
So
This guy's a fucking lunatic, bro.
do you think that this is engaging in rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the state in and of itself?
I think it lays the groundwork for it. I think that directly claiming to be in opposition to or separate from the state of San Andreas very well could be a, a rebellion or insurrection in a form. But I think that you would need more than just your words for it to be a rebellion or an insurrection. And my thinking on this is there's a few examples. Like there's this guy in Nevada who has a place that he made or deemed his own country. Everyone ignores him. They think he's just a lunatic because obviously it's not a country. It's still America, but he's deemed it to be his country, and he goes about saying it's his country, and he claims that he's the president of the sovereign state. And everyone just kind of ignores him because he's a nut job and he's crazy. I don't necessarily think that him saying I am the leader of whatever you would call it lands is inherently in an act of itself rebellion or insurrection. I think there has to be more to it. But it does lay the groundwork for it. It would be a piece of a rebellion or insurrection, but that alone does not constitute it.
Okay.
That's my
Even with the
opinion.
qualifier that the authority is listed to quote
Well, think about it like this. I mean,
considered as the purposes of the laws of the state.
okay, yes, but here's my issue with this section. Okay, if we are deeming that to be the case, then that means if someone were to say, I do not like this law about not being able to tweet horny things on Twitter, I am going to ignore it. And I think that we all should ignore this law. That very well could start to fall under this definition because they are trying to ignore or circumvent or disregard the authority of the state and the laws that it has. I don't think that in any fair evaluation of the law, we should disallow people from voicing their discontent or disagreement with the state in various matters. That's inherently a free speech activity. And I don't like the idea of allowing police officers or allowing the encroachment of authority of the state to punish people for disagreeing with the state.
You can disagree without diving into rebellion or insurrection, though.
Okay, I agree, but we have to kind of take a look at, you know, how you would even define an insurrection or a rebellion, you know? For it to be an insurrection, there would need to be like an uprising or, you know, in the violent nature against the actual government. So like
Uh-huh.
like what Chain Gang did, you know, storming the Capitol and fucking shooting down a bunch of people.
So he walks into a police department with a Class 2 firearm and raises it to police officer. after scrawling all this on the side of the wall outside of that same police department. He opens fire. He's unsuccessful. He's shot down.
Okay.
So,
Okay, listen. I guess by the traditional definition of rebellion or insurrection, you could definitely argue that what he did by going into there with a gun and shooting down officers, would
I
be
mean,
considered
hey.
an act of rebellion.
I mean, hey. I can think of a lot of people that walked into a building on a certain day in January and didn't shoot a gun in another place. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's true. That is a very good point. But I guess we also should consider this. How do we even know that he's mentally sound? You know, maybe he just needs to be 5150. Maybe we just need to lock this guy up with a therapist for a couple of years and just work out his issues. You know what?
Yeah, but the only place we could send her to for that is Parsons.
Yeah, that's true.
Parsons is out of business.
So here's my opinion on this. Okay, I guess if you're trying to be very literal and wordy about this specific definition in this charge, that you could argue quite strongly that Soze was engaging in a rebellion, and that's the specific section I would go with is the rebellion, because that is a much lower barrier to cross than an insurrection against the authority of state senators. I think it's pretty clear that he was directly questioning the authority of it. But I'm just concerned that if we do charge him with treason, theoretically, what if, for example, I'm just going to toss a hypothetical out here because I understand that, you know, whatever we say is essentially going to become common law, right? And our findings of this court case, theoretically, let's say that Hydra gang do not like a law that's going on, and so they go out there and they shoot a bunch of cops down, and they're like, this is because I don't like the speeding law. That would probably then fall under the definition of treason, even though I don't necessarily think that that would be an act of treason. I think that's just a bunch of idiots who shooting down some fucking cops because they're stupid and they don't like a law.
You're missing a step there, though.
Okay, what am I missing?
Nothing can change unless authorized by the gang Hydra, right? There's all of that invocation that goes along with it.
What do you mean?
I mean what Soze wrote on the wall outside of the building, right? If a bunch of criminals decide to just go shoot at cops because they think that the fine for robbing a financial institution is too high or something to that effect, it's a violent crime, but they are not at the same time declaring themselves an inherent state authority. They're disagreeing with it. They're disagreeing with it violently, but they're not doing that other component or aspect.
Right. I guess what I'm trying to say is the verdict, the logic test that I'm trying to get at here is I think that we just need to make sure that whatever we do rule, that we're careful to make sure that there's multiple prongs that need to be met for it to be considered treason, so that people are not found guilty or push treason against them because they have a violent disagreement with the police officers, essentially, is what I'm getting at.
Sure. There needs to be further evidence of some form of larger rebellion.
Yes.
Or at least an attempt at such.
Yes.
Here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting as we sit here and debate this, that we looked at the Class 2 firearm charge and you took a very literal sense and state with it. But with this, you're looking to expand and explore the other way. Why one way with one and not with the other?
I don't think I am. I think I'm more so just trying to make sure that we're specific in whatever wording that we use to protect the civil liberties of individuals. I think that this class 2 charge is going to be rewritten by the council after this verdict. And so I don't necessarily think that it's as important to have a precedent for it, because it's very likely that the council are going to see us rule that, if we did rule that he was not to be found guilty for the class 2, they would be like, well, that's fucking stupid. And then they're going to rewrite the law. Right. But for treason, which is a held until trial charge and a much more serious endeavor, I think that there needs to be much more serious logical barriers that need to be crossed before someone could be found guilty of it. Right, possession charges are usually cut and dry, and this possession charge is poorly written and should be rewritten.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider there. Because I don't think he meets the third prong at all. I don't think he attempted to secede from the state by any claims of land or such. You know, he said, "I am the state, not them or whoever." So
The way I interpret it is that he believes there to be a lapse in legislation or law at all above the city of Los Santos, right? He interprets the Constitution to mean Los Santos city proper and nothing else. So therefore there's no legal body legislating this area, and he's claiming it. So I would agree with that. I guess the question though is like, is him claiming that he owns Polito in the north an attempted annexation?
no, because he still refers to himself as the state, San Andreas or whatever, right? He's trying to usurp power from the state, but it is still the state. I don't think it's inherently an annexation.
Sure, okay. All right.
I'm looking through our constitution, just
Okay.
so you're aware. Nowhere pertaining to due process or jurisprudence do we have it within our power at this point in time to someone to answer your question.
So what, sorry?
To 5150 someone.
True.
It is not spelled out anywhere in legislation.
All right, okay. Okay, well, I want to go through the statements here.
Yeah,
I
there's a lot
kinda-
to read here.
I kind of want to just catch up on like some of the actual context, because I feel like we did hear their questioning in court, but I think it'd also be good to read some of the context from the police officer's point of view, because that can also color how the actual situation played out. Because I think context is very important for this. So I'm just gonna read through them all really quickly.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hey, chat, guess what? Chicken butt.
One other thing I want to note, Angel.
Mm-hmm.
The weapon, the M4,
Mm-hmm.
is specifically highlighted in evidence, and it looks like they, you know, provided a photo of where the serial or issuer would be.
Mm-hmm.
It indicates that it is unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Does it change your mind at all? That for a, I'll just introduce the argument. If a weapon is to be considered legal, should we not know who the issuer is at the very least? Should it not be
No.
registered in some way?
And here's why. One, for the first few months of the city running, weapons that were issued did not have a serial or an issuer ID. That was actually a relatively new phenomenon. So there actually are weapons in police custody at this current time that are currently marked as serial and issuer ID is unknown. They were regarded or told to change that and to get new ones out, but they existed for a period of time. So if we are to believe that this weapon could be an ex-police weapon, there's no scratched off serial. It's just unknown, and that would lead me to believe it was never provided one in the first place, which even lends more credibility to the fact that it could just be a legacy weapon that he had laying around.
Okay, I'm willing to entertain that. That's fair. I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you. And yeah, as I kind of write what I'm going to go ahead and articulate for that here, I
Here's
agree.
my thing. I think that even if we do find him not guilty on the possession, I still think we should rule that his use of it was unlawful and he should not be allowed to have a bag. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what the word for that is. Like, I don't know.
Fairly simple. It was used in the commission of a crime,
Sure.
like
yeah.
you would anything else.
Right.
That can be stipulated. A wrench isn't an illegal weapon, but if you use it to bash a cop over the head, it's going to be seized as evidence.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my thought process, and I don't think you should get this gun back. I don't think, strictly by letter of the law, it's illegal for him to have either, though.
Correct.
Okay, so I guess let's go. I mean, I just finished reading through this. This is my interpretation. This is just my reading of these statements and the line of questioning that he provided here. To me, it looks like Soze was arguing with Bones and then decided to prove a point by writing the shit down, and then it escalated from there. I don't think that he tried to incite anyone else to engage in this with him. I know that Bobby was mentioned, but I don't actually see any evidence in here indicating that he incited or invited him to come up there outside of some vague phone calls, which they didn't recall the specifics of. I do worry about this text that Bobby sent him. Where he said, what he said.
I'm in Sandy, planning my attack now. Don't worry. Are you dead?
Yeah, that concerns me because that would lead me to believe that he was in fact invited to engage in or participate in this activity that he was doing.
And that would fall into place after the phone call at 10:10.
Yeah, 10:16 is when he sent that.
So he makes the first call at 10:01. Where there's a conversation that takes place for about a minute. Well, then he then sends the message where he says he's in Sandy now. At 10:07. So about 5 minutes after that phone call concludes, he's in Sandy. Then the next call happens. And then a few minutes after that, he says he's planning the attack now. That is a pretty clear timeline. And while we don't know exactly what happened on that conversation, I point to one thing in Bobby's testimony
Got my notes here.
that is really interesting.
Okay, what was that?
Remember when he said that he went to Sandy Shore and was going to fight back against the people that he believed to be wrongfully shooting at Soze?
Hmm.
He stated that on the stand,
Okay.
which would confirm that he is acting at least within some form of the ideology that Soze was trying to enact.
Sure. This actually reminds me, though. It kind of wants me to bring up the attempted murder charges. So, in the past, I don't like to pull on the past for everything, but in the past, uh, when police officers shot first, and then a suspect would return fire, it didn't necessarily mean that it was an attempted murder. And so I'm wondering, do we still go by that? Is that still common law? Because I haven't seen anything that would say the same, but it
It's not
does.
that common law was wiped away, right?
Right, but
Um,
what I'm asking though is, does that change anything for you with regards to the actual violence that was committed there? Considering
Context
that
matters.
he was brandishing this firearm plenty of times before, and after quite a few instances of him displaying this weapon and showing it around in this building, eventually he points it at them and they shoot him first. And here's the reason why I bring this up. Okay, if you as a person are trying to kill someone and you raise your
Yep.
weapon to shoot at them, you would just raise your weapon and shoot. You wouldn't just raise it at them and then return fire when they start shooting at you. Right? Like, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Do you want to infer in the initial raising of the fire?
Right, like what I'm trying to say is, yes, he raised his firearm and pointed at them. That right there gives them the legal authority to shoot at them. And that also could be criminal use, or assault with a deadly weapon, depending on your interpretation.
Right.
And then they opened fire on him and he returned fire. I'm not saying that his use of force was legal. I'm just saying,
No.
does that necessarily make it an attempt to murder those officers if they shot first?
I don't know if I can get on board with that. Um, I think again we would need to consider the context surrounding kind of the entirety of the situation. If he had simply continued to just openly carry or brandish it, he does not get fired on. And like you said, the officers have the authority to return fire when someone raises the weapon to them. Why do they have that authority in the first place? Because once you make that move to raise that firearm in a position where you are aiming to harm someone, you have shown intent to use that firearm in a criminal matter. Now, you didn't have to pull the trigger.
I guess, sure. Oh God, Chad, am I becoming a softie?
Why raise the firearm if you're not going to do something that can do that? I think there's a reasonability test that needs to be passed there, right? Because again, he went so long without doing so. He showed that he was capable of just openly carrying it. Why make that decision as time goes on? And what else can you infer from that decision? Think he was just trying to bait them to shoot first?
It's possible. I guess the reason that I'm bringing this up, though, the reason I'm saying this is because I think that we need to define, for this treason charge specifically, I'm not saying that their use of force was unlawful. I'm not saying that they didn't have the right to shoot him. I'm not even saying that you couldn't charge him with attempted murder. What I'm saying is, if for it to be treason, there has to be a rebellion or an insurrection. Do we consider the fact that the police shot first as a qualifying factor for the violence that was committed by him at this police department?
I don't think you can, personally. That's my opinion. I'd like to hear your expanded arguments on it, but I don't think I can, because again, you have to consider the totality, all the way back to the intentions of Soze on that day. He called Bones to start to argue about them. He then drove his car illegally to a police station, where he then decided to scrawl a bunch of information on the wall on how he agrees that this is all and how this is all wrong and bad, and how he's the state now. And he proceeds to walk into that said police station, hold it with a firearm, and disrupt the operations of that entity because he's doing so as such. He then, refuses to comply with police officers, getting to the point where they have weapons pulled to him and are trying to arrest him, and he elects to raise his arm. The police shooting first wouldn't matter here, because it took a whole lot for the police to get to the point where they shot him, if you consider the totality. Now, if he just...
You need to say that again.
If he were to just waltz into the police department, brandishing a gun, raise it to them, and they shot back, yeah, I think you got a point. But I think if you put the totality of the matter and the entirety of the incident together, I don't think them shooting back to defend themselves is provocation. And I don't think that nullifies what he did.
Wait, why did I click off and I need this open? Okay,
But I see where you're coming from.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess let's summarize where we're at so we can finalize the last things that we need to discuss. Because I still think there's a pretty big question that we haven't answered or we haven't finalized our decision on.
So guilty on the attempted murder of government employee, joyriding, resisting arrest. Not guilty, criminal possession of firearm class 2. That's what I have so far.
With the recommendation that we should be making
but obviously
to...
that the weapon was used in the commission of a crime, that he does not get the gun. Right. Is where I'm at here.
I also wonder if we should include in the ruling a recommendation that this charge be looked at by the council. Because it's vague and it leaves much to be desired with clarification.
I think we can paint that brush, right? That any firearm to be considered a legal firearm needs to be registered or issued, or at least we need to know where it's issued or registered from.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then... Okay, my question is, for that to be the case, like if we're going to legislate common law like that, then wouldn't we have to find him guilty of it and make that the new precedent?
No, because...
Okay, so he'd be found not guilty, but it would become common law that if it's unregistered, it would be qualified as illegal. Is that how that works?
Actually, wait a minute. If we're gonna find in such a way through common law, we would inherently have to infer that what he did was incorrect.
Right.
No, you're correct. Right. So, the council will need to review and update legislation. Should be a fairly simple amendment. I imagine it'll pass unanimously. If they ever decide to meet or do anything again. By letter of the law, he is not guilty.
Yeah.
So that kind of leaves the and some of Soze's other fundamental argument.
Okay. I guess this just leaves the last charge here. So do you want my opinion on it before you give your thoughts and make a decision?
I think your opinion is extremely valuable. So yes, I absolutely want to hear what you have to say.
Okay. So here's my final thought for treason. I think that by the technical definitions that are contained within the penal code, in addition to the actual actions that he took, you very well could find him guilty of treason. But I have a specific interpretation of this, that I believe that in his twisted mind, from what I can tell here, he genuinely believes that the state has no authority. And if that is the case, and he believes that he has the authority as an ex-representative of the state to make a declaration like this, which he has had in the past, that it might be reasonable for him to, in his mind, I'm saying specifically, to take actions like this. And so while from the perspective of the population, the civilian population, and law enforcement as a whole, what he did very easily could be treason. I think that there's also a qualifying, a really big qualifying factor in that, which is his mental space and the actual intentions behind what he was doing, which leads me to not want to find him guilty on that. That is my opinion. I know that you might not agree with that, and that's okay, but that's kind of where I am at.
Let me ask you a question on that.
Yes.
Because I do not disagree with you at all, actually. The problem I have with it, and maybe an alternative I could suggest, is you are agreeing that by letter and by the actions taken themselves, without considering his state of mind, who he is specifically, or anything to that effect, you are agreeing that the actions constitute treason.
I think that breaking into a government building with an automatic weapon and engaging in a shootout with the police while declaring yourself to be free of the state, yes, I think you could conceivably perceive that as treason.
So, rather than finding somebody not guilty because of who they are or what their state is, what their state of being is, would it maybe be better to consider a guilty verdict to find the individual guilty of the action, but instead offer leniency when it comes to sentencing, giving those mitigating factors?
I don't know. I have a conflicting opinion on that, because I feel like if someone commits a crime, but they have enough mitigating circumstances to essentially not explain it, but to justify it or to contextualize it, I feel like it might very well be something that is worth considering, and a defense worth considering, to not find them guilty on a charge, even if they committed it, if they had reasonable, like, honestly, that example that he used actually kind of stood out to me, because you may remember the class, or the possession charge with Terry Langston and whatnot, where he robbed a cop and then tossed it away from her. It kind of reminded me a lot of that, where, you know, yes, by letter of the law, he did the thing. But if you provide an affirmative defense to contextualize what was done, you very well could find them not guilty on that, even if by letter of the law they did do that thing.
The question I raised to you then, using that specific example, is you and I both kind of came down in a place where it was Terry Langston's intent to disarm, not rob, right?
Right.
What is Soze's intention in doing this that explains this away? What is his good faith? Not even good faith. What is the reasonable articulation for him doing something like this to the extent that he did? Because even if he were, because my opinion on that is, if he is an individual of the standing that you may believe him to think he has. Would a state officer, or whatever you seem to be fit here, take the specific actions that he did?
Yes, actually.
Or would he handle them in a legal manner?
I'm going to be honest with you. The state very... Okay, this is going to sound crazy, but back in the day, when the Senate was going wild, the state troopers grabbed sniper rifles and we were going to go blow up the senator's fucking head and then replace him with judges that were going to occupy that seat appropriately, because we swore an oath to protect the state and we deemed that the actions that they're taking to be a threat to the state. So yes, actually,
the Senate had become the enemy of the state.
Yeah, so yes, actually, I could very well see what he's doing as reasonable actions of someone who believes that he's still a state trooper and protecting the state from a hostile government to be reasonable, yes. From his perspective, from knowing the kind of person he is and the actions that he had to take in the past, I actually think that this is a pretty inconsistent inline thing with what he would do if he genuinely believed this to be the case.
But are we allowed to draw on that?
I don't know. Gonna be honest with you, I'm still, I've only been doing this for 7 months. I'm still a judge in training. That's why you're the lead on this, not me.
That's typically why assessment of character, or reasoning, or those types of things are considered for sentencing, right? That's why some murderers get 25 and some get life.
It's true.
Why some people don't see prison at all for a simple drug charge, or some people see 10 to 15 years. I think it is the responsibility of this institution, especially in a matter like this, where our laws are being questioned and the enforcement of those laws is being questioned, to ensure that a reasonable and rational standard is being held and that those laws are being applied fairly, equally.
Yeah, I agree.
The way that we do that is whether we find somebody guilty or not guilty. The way we lessen or harden the blow is through sentencing. We can't absolve the actions, but we can be less punitive.
Okay.
My opinion.
I think that makes sense. So I'm also gonna to touch on the earlier bigger topic that is even bigger than this treason stuff, which is the arguments that he's making. I think that the legislators of the states and whoever wrote the Constitution and assisted our dear Crane in that very severely, and I mean incredibly severely, left very big oversights in the definition of who the state is, what their actual authority is, and what their boundaries are. And I think that it needs to be rectified ASAP, because I actually think that they are not clear at all. That's my opinion. I think that the Los Santos as a definition is not specific. It doesn't specify an area on a geographical location. It only refers to people's common knowledge, and while that works very well for the most part, our common knowledge of Los Santos being this island, it's still not specific and written, and I think that we probably need to get that written down somewhere.
Can I speak freely?
Yes, you may.
I think our constitution's fucking terrible. I think our constitution's fucking terrible.
It's got some holes in it.
Just a few.
It's got
Just a few.
it's got some holes here and there. You know, it's. But my understanding is that when Crane wrote it, it was not a placeholder, but it was supposed to be the start. Of,
Yes,
right.
it's foundational.
Yeah, it was foundational. But my concern is that it's not foundational enough. Because
Well,
it
anything with a foundation is something we need to build on.
Sure, but I think it missed the mark on defining where even the state is. I mean, listen, I am very hesitant to say this. I think that Soze has a mild point that is valid for consideration, that the state is not actually defined in terms of its geographical location or its boundaries. And Los Santos is a vague term that we only have a collective understanding of it because of our time and experience in the city. But there's no map drawn. I can guarantee you the United States government has a map drawn of their boundaries, their borders, where they operate, where their jurisdiction is. We don't have any of that. We need that.
Is that needed if we have one contiguous island with one contiguous jurisdiction split up over separate departments?
It's not defined as that.
It's not defined as that.
That's the problem. It's not defined as that. It's
You're right,
not
yeah.
defined.
No, it's a problem.
I'm saying it
we need
should
to
be
build on it.
defined. It should be defined.
It should be defined. Here's the problem, right? We opened the world's biggest can of worms. We outright during this
We
verdict
can't.
admit that it's
We
not
literally
defined
can't.
properly,
We
right?
can't. We can't.
I
I mean, it would quite literally destroy the state, as we know it. I think if
it would destroy the state, and it would mean that every single person that was ever arrested north of Vinewood
think of the paperwork.
would need to be let go and absolved of all their.
Think of the
criminal charges.
paperwork, Norman. We would have to go back 7 months plus of paperwork and docket cases and refund people for crimes that were committed outside of the jurisdiction.
Yeah, it'd be a fucking nightmare, wouldn't it?
Think of the paperwork, Norman.
That'd be a fucking nightmare. And no, I refuse to do that. I refuse. I will put my foot down there and say no. Look, I think we have operated as a state for the last 7 months with a established understanding of how our law enforcement system works. I think that one man questioning that should not be enough to paint a wide brush. Are there shortfalls in the legislation? Yes. Can they be fixed? Yes. I do not think that we require one without the other, as it were. We can fix the laws and we can more clearly define them without absolutely destroying the fabric of our society at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
So, love your point. I'm not going to bankrupt the state refunding everyone that did a crime north of the Alamo.
Chad, we sound like unhinged lunatics. Or at least I do. I sound like an unhinged lunatic when I say
That's
the
a
shit that I
bridge
do.
slightly too far.
Yeah.
It's very clear, again, through the legislative points that I made, with how the PCP was written, how the Constitution was originally written, that the state intended that the police had jurisdiction across the entirety of the island.
Well, I mean, yes, we agree on that, and I think it's pretty clearly stated in the legislature. that that is the case.
But yeah,
And that
no, I
is,
do think we need to.
I'm not really talking about that. I agree that the police have jurisdiction there and that the Blaine County Sheriff's Office can exist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that like the actual like legislation needs to be updated.
Yeah, we need to get that old bastard Crane in a room, and we need to tell him that we need to fix this shit.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I guess then I need you to summarize what our decision is because I don't have the vocabulary capability of doing that right now.
Yeah, a little too cooked for a verdict.
I wouldn't say I'm cooked. I'm just saying like I don't really know the proper words to put what you and I just discussed into. Like
I'm gonna need to spend a lot of time writing because this ain't one I can just wing.
Yeah, no.
Before I start writing, do you happen to have any food or drink?
I can go get you some. You want to start writing? I'll run to the Senior Buns, get you something.
No, I don't want you to run out because, danger.
I have a gun. I have 2 arms now.
Sure, you sure I can just 311 for a cop to bring us some food?
I guess if you just want to 3-in-1, you can do that too.
Do you want to go be adventurous? If you want to go be adventurous,
okay.
go be adventurous.
No,
I don't want to take
just
this away from you.
No, I'll just have a seat. Don't worry about it.
I don't want to take this away from you.
No,
This is something that you want to do.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do, Brett. Up to you.
Don't care.
Do care.
Don't care.
And,
Start writing. Don't care. I'll just sit here and look pretty.
You always do.
Thank you. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Would you like to go run around with your new arm and go get some food? Yes or no?
No, I'll just stay right here.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think I'm too autistic for this job, chat, okay? Here's why, okay? Because on my read-through of Soze's arguments, as unhinged and lunatic and stupid as they are, he kind of has a point about some things. Some of the things that he talks about, he kind of has a point about. I'm not justifying his actions. I'm not saying that what he was doing was okay. I'm not saying that you should go storm a government building with a class 2 and hold down. I'm just saying.
You know what? Better idea.
I actually do think that the state's boundaries and definitions of where the state operates have only gotten so far on players' OC assumptions and knowledge of the state, and not based on any documentation that's actually written in game.
Ran outside and went to go get food for ourselves while we're deliberating, and someone did something to one of us. So.
Oh my God, am I committing treason by questioning the authority of the state?
Yep, top floor. We've gotten the clearance, so.
I need to ask Norman.
Oh, good. Thank you so much.
Norman.
Angel.
By me questioning the authority of the state and whether or not they actually have jurisdiction over certain areas because of how the legislation is written, am I committing treason?
No, because you're not inciting rebellion or insurrection.
So it's a legal coup.
You can question it. Anyone can question it. I think you and I are sitting here and questioning the standing of our Constitution, which is our foundational law. We're openly questioning it right now. We're not being treasonous by doing so.
Okay. All right, I'm just making sure.
I mean, unless you want to commit treason.
No, I've already done that before. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, chat, like, God, I know I'm gonna get ripped apart for this opinion chat. I know I'm just gonna get actually shredded, bro. Everyone's gonna call me so many fucking names for me thinking this chat, but I think that Jose is right about some of the stuff that he's talking about. Even though he's the crazy guy and he's supposed to be wrong. I think he's right about some of the stuff he's talking about. And I know I'm gonna get flamed by my community for saying that chat.
Hey, wait a minute. Just to raise one more point, because it's here. Following your logic,
Huh?
pertaining to Soze's state of mind, right?
Right?
That he reasonably believed that he was a state officer.
Mm-hmm.
How are you finding him guilty of driving a police car?
I don't think it matters if it's a police car. It's a car that he didn't have the authority to drive.
Why not?
Because I believe that if a vehicle is in the shared garage, the people who dictate who has access to that garage, if you have actual access to that garage and the vehicle is parked in there, you basically implicitly have permission to operate those vehicles. But he doesn't have access to that garage, even if he believed himself to be a trooper.
Did he then have access to resources that allowed him to become, enable, enforce, or act as the law as he scrawled on that building? Following that same logic?
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
Well, I'm trying to draw parallels here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he have the authority to, as he wrote on the wall outside the building, become the overseer, be the law, act as the law, take control of the prison?
No, he doesn't have that authority. Even if everything he believed to be true were the case, he still wouldn't have that authority.
Right.
But as troopers, sometimes you just have to seize the balls of power tightly and grasp them in your hands until they fucking pop. And then you put your own balls in place and then you run the place. That was always our motto.
So you just gotta do trooper shit.
Yeah, it was what we call trooper shit, Like, that's just what it was. It was trooper shit,
If you were to honestly ask yourself right now, is any of this argument that you're making against troopers because you are empathetic to trooper shit, having been a trooper yourself?
No. The reason that I am empathetic to his state of mind is because I have been in a very similar position as him, but I had more on the line. I was essentially directly tasked by the police high commands to assassinate a sitting senator of the United States government to preserve our democracy, and I agreed to do it. So the reason I'm sympathetic to him is because in the past we've had to entertain much more crazy and serious things than this. And in another alternate universe, I could see myself in Soze's position doing the stupid shit that he's doing because that's just what troopers always were essentially ordained to do.
Let's go to the alternate universe that you were never a trooper and you're just a judge. Do you still hold that same mindset?
I would be empathetic to him being what appears to be a crazy person. I don't think I would really care about the trooper shit stuff. I would probably just look at this as like some fucking lunatic psycho doing lunatic psycho shit. But it doesn't look like an actual serious attempt to overthrow the government. Someone that needs psychiatric help, yeah. Prison time for violence, sure.
Okay. So what do you think about a sentence then for this?
Uh, what for the treason charge, or
Everything
just for
all together
everything?
here.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, considering that he was held for, I believe, how long has he been in prison?
To my understanding, he's been in prison for 72 hours.
72 hours. Okay, so I would find him guilty for the attempted murder, generating resisting, and then obviously the criminal possession would be that solution we discussed about, and then I would give him time served for those, and then the full fine. And for treason, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. If this was my case, I would find him not guilty for treason, and I would recommend that he be placed into a mental health facility that can better care for him, even if one doesn't exist. And I would implore there to be the creation of one. Because
But we don't have the power to do that.
we don't. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that I can, in good conscience, find someone guilty of a capital level crime when they're clearly not in the right state of mind. The point of prison and the point of the Justice Department is to rehabilitate individuals and to provide a path forward. And if we can seriously look at this deranged man saying these deranged and doing these deranged things, and look at him and say that he did this with sound mind, he committed an active, count of treason, and he deserves to spend prison time for it, which I do think he needs to spend time in prison. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's an innocent person here, but I also can't tell you that I would recommend a treason level punishment, because treason is a very serious charge and it should be treated that way too. Hi, Gatsby.
Hello. Hey. I wanted to go be a badass, but I figured it probably wasn't the best idea.
Yeah, probably not.
Dude, Chad, I'm gonna
I
get
just wanted to
flamed for my
filter out you
opinions so
guys.
much.
Yeah, that's
Fuck.
You want anything? I'm guessing. Do you need anything, Angel? You said you've got right.
I should be okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm teetering, so.
Well, given how filling the fun house is, you should have plenty there for actually both of you if you end up needing it.
Yeah, I'll hold it for a second and we'll go.
Yeah.
We're
Nice.
close. We know where we are in charges. We think,
Yep.
No, that's good.
but we've got a lot to write and consider.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing the verdict's going to be a lot of walking on eggshells and careful wording.
Yep. Probably.
Alright. Good luck, guys.
Thank you,
Tell me if you
Gatsby.
need anything else?
The point that I'm getting at is I think that there needs to be some consideration for what these charges actually mean and the implications behind them. Obviously, he committed criminal acts by doing what he did. Obviously, the BCSO have authority from the state to arrest him. None of that's really in question anymore, right? But from my reading of these statements, from even some of the questions that he posed, and the way that Declan even specified it, the ramblings of a madman. Just because some lunatic is on the side of the road ranting about the Hollywood elites sucking adrenochrome out of kids and how they need to fucking go overthrow the government to save it, we don't throw those people into prison on treason charges, even if they
You're
go
right.
do a violent act, right? We throw them in prison for the violent acts that they committed.
Oh. Unless those violent acts are against the entity that they're rebelling against.
Sure. Listen, I'm not trying to convince you. I think that it's definitely fair to charge him with treason. I'm giving you my personal opinion on just how I would rule the case. That's just that at the end of the day. It's just my opinion.
The problem, see, where I'm struggling is because I do fundamentally agree with you.
My thinking is
But
like there surely there has to be a better place to send this guy than prison. And if there's not, surely we could use this as a way to create one.
or at least maybe order. See, I don't know. I think it's really I think it's simple to kind of accomplish both things here. Well, not simple. That's the wrong word. I think the individual could be found guilty. I think they could be given a lighter sentence. I think that we could do something to the effect of, as part of that sentence, have to work with a, like a Dr. Pixie or something, to assess their state of being and let her recommendation come beyond as to whether further action needs to be taken. As far as like establishing that mental health bit, I don't know that we are the ones to condemn him to that. I think that we can say that he should go for at least a visit with her or an evaluation with her, for her to make that determination and bring back to us. But traditionally, this court has never entertained the concept of a not guilty by reason of insanity plea, or finding, because of the door that it opens, given the nature of the personalities of the people who live in this lovely little town that we're in. We tried it once. Didn't go well. Did not go well. And it's a really slippery one to open now, I think. I think we can do something similar to it, but I don't know if we can just entirely not guilty.
That's fair. Puppy, I love you. You're such a cute puppy. And I want to smooch your face because you're such a cute. Yo, thanks to 26 months, AM.
Can we give Norman Adams
Yeah.
the death penalty instead?
Maybe a suspended sentence?
What do you mean by that?
Hey, you're guilty, but if you do these things, type shit.
Just let him out and put him on parole. Recommend some appointments with a therapist.
Well, not recommend, order.
Right, order. What's up, Viz? Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with that. Because I mean, I'm not gonna disagree that, like, if any person did this seriously, I don't think it'd even be a question if it was treason, right? Like, that's the only reason that this is even a concern for me is because his mental state is very clearly not normal. Okay, well let's. I'm on board with that. If we give him a suspended sentence, we order some therapy sessions with a psychologist like Pixie or Tanner.
Not Tanner. Tanner's
No.
got felonies and shit.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess just Pixie then.
Okay. Let me actually get to the writing part of what I was doing.
I'll stop
Sorry,
distracting.
I keep. No, you're not distracting.
I'll
I keep
stop
having
distracting
thoughts.
you. I'm gonna get
You're
some
not
dumplings.
distracting me. I keep thinking, having thoughts, and having to ask you about those thoughts.
It's okay. God, I want to eat the rest of my dumplings so bad. I'm gonna go get my. I'm getting the dumpling container. So many dumplings. So many dumplings in my Twitch chat. I really like being a judge, chat. The only hard thing about being a judge Just how everyone in chat thinks that their opinion is better than yours. That definitely stinks a little bit. Ooh-wee. I just got sent some leaks. Damn, that looks so fucking good, dude. I guess it's some leaks. I'm not gonna tell you guys what the leaks are. It looks good though. It looks really good. No, no leakers. I've eaten 24 dumplings today, chat. Is that too many? Is that too many dumplings? I'm getting fat because of all these dumplings. Yeah, I don't know, chat. See, for me, it's just really difficult because, like, I am the kind of person that really likes to be specific and wordy with a lot of things. I think that there is a lot of specific stuff that actually really should be enumerated in the legislation and the Constitution that's not.
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. And that bothers me that it's not enumerated. I think that
I'd vote on these from what it appears to be here.
Okay.
Just read at the bottom that it was enacted solely by the Chief Justice.
Okay.
Um, does that change how we want to handle making the determination as to what is or isn't an illegal firearm, or do you think we should still refer that back to the city council?
uh. I don't know. I don't really think that changes my opinion at all, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I feel like with some things that like possession charges that are specific, they need to be, the specific definitions need to be written down. They're not just to be inferred by what we think is an illegal gun, you know? Like
Mhm.
that's just my opinion. If the state wants to make something illegal, they need to be very explicit in what is illegal and what is not. And if there's any room for things to be deemed as not illegal, then that means that they didn't write the law properly. That's my opinion. Like the way I see it is, if there's nothing that says it's illegal to have a class 2. It's illegal to have an illegal class 2 based off of this law. But there's nothing that states what an illegal class 2 is. It'd be the same thing as if there was a law that says it's illegal to have an illegal bookmark. But there's nothing defining what an illegal bookmark is versus a legal bookmark, you know? That's just my opinion. There isn't any 5150 or crazy legislation. I think there should be. I think this is a good example of a 5150 case. That just me though. That just freaking me, guys. And who am I? I'm nobody, chat. I'm a fucking nobody. Fuck me. Just wanted to say I love the roleplay, I love the stream, and I appreciate all the content that you make. Hey, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Bugatti hypercar revealed with 1800 horsepower V16 powertrain. Lame. Don't care. Lame ass, boring ass Bugattis. No one gives a fuck about those stupid ass cars. That's just me though. I actually don't really care about... I don't really care about hypercars like that, chat. There's really only one hypercar that's ever caught my attention. That's the Pagani Huayra. Most hypercars I just don't really care for or give a shit about. Because I'll never be able to afford one. Guys, what's your opinion so far? We really needed Willie's drawings to help clarify it all. Yeah, it would have been a lot better if we had Willie there to draw it up for us. That would have been nice. The Pagani Huayra is it? They really are, dude. They're so fucking cool. Hey, chat. I just saw a post on Reddit. And I'm kind of curious, dude. It says, pierced titties taste like house keys. Is that true? Is there anyone in chat that can confirm or deny these allegations? Ah, what am I kidding? None of you guys would ever be able to fucking find that out. I don't even know why I'm asking. Don't even know why I'm asking. Chat's never even fucking sucked a titty in their life, bro.
Don't beat yourself down. You're Kylie fucking Bacon. You play Block Letty, Judge Angel, Raziel, and
Chat, you know what surprised me about this band? They don't have very many monthly listeners at all. I think their stuff's really good. I actually don't know why they're not bigger. They only have 70,000 monthly listeners. Yo, Evarq, thank you. Don't let yourself down. You're Kylie fucking Bacon. You play Glock Letty, Judge Angel, Raziel, and Mary Mush. You define racing and story IP for years. Aww. Thank you, Ivor. Thank you for the $50. Oh no, I appreciate that. And Zach, thanks for Twitch Prime. That's very kind of you. Thank you for the kind words. And you're right. I am that fucking cool. You're fucking right. I am that cool. I'm that girl. You think you can do this? Is it time? Is chat free? Oh my god. I'm scared. You're Kylie Big Titty Goth Girl Bacon? That's true, that is me.
Hey, what do you want to do about the contempt?
Well, he did call you, not a very highly regarded person, and I think that's very rude.
Yeah, I was floating in a number of $25,000.
Yeah, that's kind of what my mind jumped to too. 25,000 is just a nice number, you know. It's pretty high, you know. It's like 5 to 10 hours of working a shitty job. You know, it's enough to make them rethink it. I think it's pretty fair number.
I do note that he in court today made an emphasis to call everybody morons instead.
That was very nice of him to not call us lowly regarded people. That's very nice. not wanting to let him walk because the paperwork is wild. Well, you didn't think... Listen, I'm just gonna be honest. That's the most trooper shit thing I could have done, honestly. If you really think about it, that means the Angel's a true trooper. She learned that from Soze. Guys, listen, Soze taught Angel, do anything you can to avoid paperwork. Only losers do paperwork, okay? That's what he taught her, right? She learned from the best. If reading the Constitution makes you a deranged to say person, it's more of a promised Constitution. I'm not gonna lie, chat. I think that the Constitution needs to be heavily updated and rewritten to include this shit because, frankly, it doesn't say a lot of the things that people think it says. So, Los Santos is a state. It's not the state, chat. The state is San Andreas. Los Santos is the city. So, it needs another pass. I don't know what to tell you. And then basically no common definition is Los Santos ever meant the islands. This is San Andreas, what we're looking at here. This is Los Santos. This is Sandy Shores. This is Grapeseed. This is Polito. They are 4 separate cities written into the map. It has always been this way. It's a county. Yes, Los Santos County comes up to about here. I know this because I would look this up when I was trying to come up with the jurisdictions back in the day during the restructure. There's also 2 counties, technically, chat. Harmony and Sandy. You guys and I both know that if I do a 12-hour stream, The prospects of a stream the next day kind of are big question marks, you know. It depends on how I feel after sleep, you know. Was Soze's map not explained? No, and I really wish it was. I really wish he'd got into more detail with this map. Because basically, as it is, we just kind of had to ignore it. To be honest, I don't know for Tom, but tomorrow's big soccer day, W. Fizz, you guys already watched the episode, didn't you? You guys already watched it without me, didn't you? W? Is this a panel or are you like a Menseed Adams here? It's a panel. Why did it have to be ignored? Because it's just a, listen. It's just a map, chat. It's meaningless without an explanation as to what you're looking at. Here's why, okay, chat. Actually, I'm going to perfectly demonstrate why that's meaningless, okay, chat?
What's that?
Nothing. Don't worry about it, sorry. Okay, chat. Look. I have a graph here. I have a graph right here, guys. Wait, you don't know what this graph means? How do you guys not know what this graph means? It's a graph. The information's right here, chat. It's literally a graph. Oh, what's that? I have to describe sections of it. Do you guys? Oh, okay. Well, all right. I can do that then. Here, okay, I'll put a legend in for you guys so you can understand. Length of stream how stupid chat is. Okay. That's my graph, guys. That's my graph. It makes sense now because I put information into it that further explained my graph. And now let's compare it to this. We have purple. We have blue, red, and orange. But none of these mean anything. None of these mean anything without what, chat? Without? Come on.
Okay, so
None of these mean anything without.
here's what I've written. And as far as
Legends, thank you, Aki. Thank you.
I am going with 4 years in prison with credit for 3 served. I think we do need to send a minimum of 1 at this point.
Okay.
I don't think we can outright suspend everything. I am making it conditional to his parole that he does seek a psychiatric evaluation or counsel to affirm fitness to return as a working member of our society. I'm going with $200,000 for the offense of treason and everything kind of all rolled together.
How much?
Plus 200. Do you disagree with that?
I mean, that's a lot of money.
Where do you think it should land instead? Base number plus the 25 for the contempt. I think 150?
Didn't we only give Changing like $50,000 each for their terrorism?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Their fines were still. No, their fines were in the 360 to 310 range.
After
Oh.
adding in all their attempted murders and stuff. But like for the actual charge, we didn't give them more than like. I'm pretty sure it was under like 150K for the terrorism.
Let me look back at my notes.
Because I mean, like combined, like their total sentence was pretty high individually, but that's because there was like a million charges there.
I believe so. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
Oh my God, chat.
prosecution's here.
This case is an interesting matter with a
Hey,
lot of
boss.
stakes.
Sorry to be
Yes?
rude. Can I just ask you something?
Sure.
Off the record. It's
Sure.
a bit long, but it's a pretty simple question. I do want to ask it if that's okay.
Is it something that can wait until after our verdict? I'd love to speak to you, sir. No issue.
It won't take long, actually, at all.
right,
But
yeah, come-
I think it's
okay,
so
come
listen.
on up.
Me and you, Mr. Adams. Okay. Say we both live in those apartments over there at what is it? New Viceroy.
Yeah. Yeah, over there,
God, he's
little
gonna-
stool. Yeah.
Me and you, we're homies. You look like a good guy, honestly, and I'd probably drink beers with you. When we get to the point, right, where we're drinking beers because we live next to each other in each other's apartments, then the manager comes down and says, listen, guys, you know, I've been authorized to run this place. I'm going to have to ask you both to leave because we can't afford to run this place no more. So we'll let you know if anything opens up. So we got to leave, right? And you come back later and they give you a letter and it says, hey, come here. You can have your old apartment back. We've done it up a little bit. Seems to be working pretty good. If there's any issues, you know, let us know. Do you reckon you'd have permission to walk into my old apartment right next to you?
No.
So, what about this? You walk up to the manager and you say, "Hey, listen, pal, I think the toilet's blocked. You know, you mind if I just take a shit in the toilet next door? I used to go in there on my way around." He says, "Yeah, I'll authorize that. I'll give you a key, and if anything happens, you know, I'll have it written here on the table. Would you be able to go in there and take a shit now?"
Well, the manager of the property is given a key and given implicit permission to do so. Yes, if he's the owner of the property, then yeah, why not?
Okay. Well, what if your name was Los Santos, my name was Blaine County, the mayor was the fucking manager, and the state was the people that authorized the manager? Would you go shit in Blaine County without having no fucking permission slip, sir?
Well, luckily, that's a subject I'm going to address in this verdict in exhaustive detail, sir.
Okay. Fantastic.
Absolutely. Now, as I was saying, this case is an interesting matter with a lot of stakes riding on it that, in both Judge Angel and my opinion, will hopefully work in at least a foundational sense as to not only how we interpret the laws of our land, but will potentially shape them in the days to come. With this, we have reached a verdict in this matter. Now, Mr. Soze, there were a number of arguments given by yourself. I'm going to start with joyriding here. Given pertaining to the charge of joyriding. You spoke to me, and you spoke to Sheriff Bones over there about the definition of joyriding. And you also affirmed and brought forward argument about spirit of the law and what you were intending to do with the vehicle.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Did these guys inform you that Siobhan's no longer currently holding a badge as a police officer? The one that wrote all the PC for these charges? That wasn't here to be a witness?
I was not informed of that, but that would have no influence on this matter. Just because a police officer is fired doesn't call all of their prior work into question.
Yes, that's true. Especially when I start asking about the legislation on top of it and build the case. You're right, sir.
Don't worry. Again, we'll be discussing the legislation in full. Don't worry. Got a lot to say here, and I'd love to speak to you afterwards. Now, the court understands your arguments, Mr. Soze, pertaining to joyride, especially that your actions were in good spirit, and that you were attempting to bring the vehicle to a safe location. By letter of the law, however, we do find that the vehicle was driven without permission, and while prosecutorial discretion could have been exercised by either Sheriff Bone or the individual pressing the charges, in this instance, it was not. By definition and by letter, you drove a vehicle without permission, without the intent to deprive the owner permanently of the vehicle. You will be found guilty of joyriding in this instance. Now, it was further stated that you resisted arrest while you were at the sheriff's office. Sheriff Bones stated that you were tackled and attempted to be handcuffed at one point, which you resisted. You wiggled your way out of those handcuffs. No counter was brought to this version.
He's giving away his other
so
verdict,
therefore, Judge Angel and I will be finding you guilty of resisting arrest.
because he hasn't even addressed
now,
his
with
ability
regards
to
to the
prosecute
3 counts
charges.
of attempted murder of a government employee, in the situation here that has been outlined, officers, based on what we've established here, had probable cause to detain you for arrest. Those same officers exercised patience, drawing their firearm, and even allowed you to brandish a Class 2 firearm inside of the sheriff's office. Those officers did not open fire until you raised the weapon at them, which is a reasonable act. At which point, you returned fire at 3 confirmed officers: Declan Crane, Jeffrey Bones, and Loki Schuyler. In no way can this be articulated as a legal way to stand your. Therefore, you will be found guilty of 3 times attempted murder of a government employee. Now, I think you'll find this one interesting. We want to turn our
No, I
attention
will
to the
not,
current
sir.
charge.
I'm sure I will.
I'm
I'm
sure you
very
will.
Well understood, considering your stance with the terrorism charges and your phone calls with Mr. Siobhan just before they were put away, and your bias to Mr. K himself shown in private messages, sir. You are an asshole and not understanding of the law. You're
Wait,
a piece of
what?
shit, and you have no due process. It's on Twitter, motherfucker. Go look at it. You dog
Oh, I
shit
looked at
asshole.
it. I looked at it.
Fuck you.
Don't worry. It was
give a shit what you
very,
say.
very benign. And, you know, if
Yeah,
you're
the
inferring that you
spirit
had
of the
some involvement in
law.
that,
When
that's
Aziz
fine.
fucking dies and you all watch what happen, the spirit is fucking dead. Yeah.
Well, the spirit's not dead, Mr. Soze, because if you'll
It
allow
is
me to
dead.
continue, if you'll allow me to
Already-
continue,
You've
sir,
already said it, asshole.
I've not said it.
The word of the law matters from the penal code, but not the constitution or the legislation. You, sir, are a fucking lying asshole. You're a hypocrite.
Well, that's your opinion, sir. Now I'm going to go and
No,
return to my
it is
verdict at this
factual,
time.
asshole.
That is your opinion. That being said, Mr. Soze, turning your attention to the criminal possession of firearm class 2 charge, sir, you've raised a valid point, and you are correct. This is an interesting charge in and of itself. The charge is written out as, quote, to possess an illegal class 2 firearm without a license. Class 2 firearm is defined as any shotgun or automatic firearm.
I don't believe that was even mentioned in this case, sir.
No, sir, but it is the letter of the law that you're so stuck on
Right,
here at
but
this
you
point.
just should, I don't know who said it, that's all.
I'll go ahead and continue. This is interesting because the court takes note that you do have a valid weapons license. That weapons license was issued by a judge, and that the standing legislation titled Weapons License Guidelines, published on March 4th, 2024, does not specifically note what constitutes a legal firearm. Now, on that, and on that very specific note, Mr. Soze, Judge Angel and I are unable to make the determination as to whether that specific firearm is in fact illegal. We don't know how it was issued. We don't know how it was registered. By definition, it's illegal to have a, quote, illegal Class 2 firearm. But there is no definition standing as to what a legal or illegal Class 2 firearm is. So, you will be found not guilty of that charge. With a firm
Yippee.
recommendation from the department that this legislation is reviewed. But it should be clearly stipulated that the weapon was in fact used in a violent crime and is not to be returned. And as you've been convicted of a violent felony, your weapons license is to be removed. Now, lastly, we're going to go on and move on to treatment.
Alright.
There are a lot of compelling
Slump study
arguments
chat.
pertaining to jurisdiction, the state, Los Santos, Blaine County, and others.
Slim Sweaty.
With regards to jurisdiction, Judge Angel and I have taken note of the following. Mr. Soze, you are once again correct in pointing out the 2 legislative authorities in the state, the City Council and the Department of Justice.
From the state.
We do take note that the City Council then passed a piece of legislation entitled the PCP 2.0, which carries the, quote, following important remarks that I will read back to you for your record. Quote, this document establishes the fact that the law enforcement departments of Los Santos will now answer to the mayor's office, with solely the mayor acting in this capacity on behalf of the state. Quote, moving forward, the mayor's office will act as an immediate superior to the law enforcement departments of Los Santos on all matters in order to ensure that the power the law enforcement departments of Los Santos wields is not misused in any flagrantly uncorrectable way. This document assures and reiterates as well state supremacy on matters of the law enforcement departments of Los Santos, with the state acting as the ultimate arbiter of decision-making, should the avenues that the mayor's office wishes to pursue prove to be themselves problematic insofar as the future of the stability of the island at large is concerned. This legislation in question also allows for the following, quote, the formation of other law enforcement departments as the need arises in other regions of Los Santos beyond the city. Coverage is important. In that writing, it is implicitly
Oh my
established
God.
prior to this document's publication on May 10th, 2020, the one department that did exist, the LSPD, maintained jurisdiction over those regions. Further recognizes that, albeit while not clearly defining, those
Oh, we're
regions
so
do
dead
in
set.
fact
Laws are clearly
exist.
defined. Okay, sure. Sometimes they are, right? I get it. Keep going, pal.
Oh, don't worry, I will. I have not finished
You are
yet,
in
so
a
I got plenty more.
delusion.
I'm gonna delude.
Yes. I mean, there's a reason there's a lot of people standing behind me and not these pieces of shit over here because they all see you as a fuckwit and a
Your
traitor.
Honor, we can gag him if you like.
Adams is known to be a corrupt.
Oh, that's okay. He's got the
we
right to
know,
free speech,
we
just like
know.
everybody else, and we don't want to. We don't
I
want
don't
to,
have the right to
take
free
that away from
speech.
him.
You've taken it from me multiple times. I wrote on a wall that I was an overseer, and apparently that is against the state.
Have I found you guilty of treason yet, Mr. Soze?
Oh, but I did get tried last week by the same idiots that talked to Siobhan on the phone.
Interesting.
I hope she dies, by the way. I hope she don't make it out of ICU.
Why don't you
It'll
try to
be
get
better for the
reaction out of
state.
me, Judge? Come on, get a reaction out of me.
I don't need a reaction from you, Mr. K. That said, therein, Judge Angel and I find that the state's intention is clear. For law enforcement to maintain jurisdiction over the entirety of the island, whether that be in the city itself or outside. And as a result, this will now bring us back to the core tenets of Mr. Soze's argument. Mr. Soze,
just to
it was
confirm on that one, is a legislation now of the state? Is that what you're saying?
I directly read quotes to you from the PCP 2.0.
Right, which is not of state authority. Okay.
I again point to the direct quote
Hey,
that says,
listen, if you're from United States from America, so be it, pal.
I honestly don't
Assuring
understand
and
the
reiterating
oven
state supremacy,
from
but I
distinction that he's trying to make.
Mr. Soze, it was testified that you admitted to writing the words on the outside of the police station. You've just said it yourself before me. Words that read as follows. Kale Soze owns. Signed, State Officer Kale Soze. Nobody can make laws. We own Polito in the north. Can change anything he wants when he wants. His writing is inept and is attested to in that interrogation. The following actions are then factually known to have occurred. You received a call from Bobby Charles, and the court acknowledges that the details of that conversation are unclear.
Oh my God, is he signaling?
Mr. Charles could not testify to them, and
Is he
you made no statement
signaling?
to them yourself. We do see a response in text that reads, quote, "I'm in Sandy," that occurred about 6 minutes later. Then there was another call from Bobby Charles that we once again agree with you, sir. Do not know the contents of the phone call. We cannot speak to. The only thing that comes after that is a quotation that reads, quote, "Planning my attack now, don't worry, are you dead?" in text message from Bobby to yourself. Again, we do not know the content of this phone call. The only thing we have to turn to is Mr. Charles's direct testimony here in this courtroom today, where he stated that he was, quote, "looking to fight back against individuals who wrongly shot Kale Soze." This, in the court side, finishes the story. Mr. Soze cited rebellion against the authority established in Blaine County, as outlined through the PCP. Clearly labeled his intentions through writings on the wall of the sheriff's office, and then engaged in violent behavior when he raised a weapon to officers on the inside of the building. While this may be a failed attempt at insurrection or rebellion, it by very definition rises to the legal definition of treason. Now that said, we understand where this comes from and the background that you, Mr. Soze, bring to this matter. I see the uniform you're wearing. I understand where you've come from.
Stupid. The letter of the
Nope.
law. I cannot believe you guys. The spirit of the law when you want it to be, but when it's the letter of the law, it ain't. You are unbelievably fucking pathetic as a human being.
Have I finished,
You
sir?
are a cow. I don't give a fuck if you finish or not. The way you try to sway that legislation, which is under the Constitution is of the state. Anything under it is from the authority of the state. It isn't the state. It's from the authority of the state. You fucking Neanderthal. So when you mention any sort of state fucking thing or entity inside that, it is irrelevant. The mayor is not the state. A mayor of the state? Are you fucking stupid?
Let
You
guy
are the
finish,
dumbest
Jose.
motherfucker. No, fuck this guy and fuck you. I hope you put me in jail. I want to go to jail because these people are going to hate you more.
You
I'm gonna
hope
go to
you go to
Harris
Letter
jail.
of the fucking law. You're a fucking asshole. I don't give a fuck if I don't go to jail. You're still an asshole. You're missing the point.
Mm,
The point
I'm
is,
missing the.
Amen.
you are an asshole.
I'm an asshole and I'm missing
You're
the
an
point.
asshole.
Right.
Fucking asshole.
Now,
Fuck
as
that
I was
guy.
stating,
Fucking
I
asshole.
understand where this comes from and the
Local
background
law
that
is
Mr.
state law,
Soze brings
guys.
us matter. Now, we're not looking at sanguinian levels of insurrection and rebellion by any means. We are looking actually at the ideals of a man who has fallen from powers bestowed upon him in a failed government from past years.
I was fired
courts.
for that asshole.
Courts, while we will be finding you guilty, Kale, will not be entertaining anything near to the full 7 years requested by the prosecutor. Instead, we'll be referring you as it'll be a sentence of a total of 4 years in prison with credit for 3 served, 4 years parole beyond. While you are on parole, the court will be ordering that you seek psychiatric evaluation in order to.
I can understand a word that Norman says, David. He lets go of his supposed to
The
talk about way too
totality
much.
of the fine will be $125,000, $100,000 for the crimes committed, plus $25,000 in contempt for your actions.
Gets ready to
used
slum.
for words.
This man just authorized anybody to get a citation in Los Santos or elsewhere to be going against the laws of the state, my friends. You guys are fucking stupid.
Fucking
This hearing is
asshole.
adjourned, sir.
Fuck you, asshole.
You're not a bitch.
So, where's the jurisdiction end?
The totality of the island, sir, as is clearly
Yo,
stated in the legislation.
Okay, so the totality of the island. So when you guys go arrest people in boats, now what do you been doing, motherfucker? What's your excuse there, bitch?
What is
That's
my
what I
excuse?
thought. You're gonna fucking run circles around it, because that water ain't no island, sir. There's a lake up there where people are fishing and getting charged for shit too. You are a fucking rat.
I'm
and I
like
know you're gonna
invisible,
fucking
chat.
worm your way out of that one too with the spirit of the law bullshit. Word of the law, my fucking ass.
Well, you're
fucking liar.
interchanging word and spirit an awful lot,
No,
here, Mr. Sosa.
You're a fucking liar.
You're
and a
interchanging the
coward.
words a lot here
What is
between
an island,
word
sir?
and
Is it
letter
a
and
body of
spirit.
water? No. An island is surrounded by water, moron.
Yes, it is, sir.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
You're insanely. You're ashamed to not only the state of San Andreas, which apparently is now Los Santos County. You're just ashamed to the United States of America, allowing violations of due process. Prosecutors over here that are failing in the Constitution aren't even police officers to write these guys PCs and charges and allow that in evidence of a court of law, and they're not here to be answered to. You are ridiculous. Okay.
And why
No-
aren't they
no
here to be
fucking-
answered to, Mr. Soze? Why aren't they here to be answered to?
I have no
I
idea.
asked the
They're
question,
an ICU and they're no longer a police officer, apparently.
Yeah, well.
Apparently, you also know this, if that's the insinuation you're asking to right now, and you let it happen. You are a coward. Go ahead and put me in jail, but I'm glad that people see what pieces of shit you are. When you guys keep getting shut up in courtrooms, or whatever the fuck happens, and they are quote-unquote terrorists, just remember, it's because the word of the law only matters when it's your shitty penal code to put someone in jail that opposes it. And the spirit of the law only matters when you want to swindle and lie to these people and imply a mayor is the state because the state gave him some form of power. If we all get power from the federal government, you stupid bitch, that doesn't mean we're all feds.
True.
Holy fuck, you're stupid.
Amen.
Put me in jail.
All right, so
You motherfucker.
hands behind your back. Cuffs going on you.
Couldn't even handle the analogy. Fucking moron.
A hero right there.
We're all feds, guys. Congratulations. You're all power of the Fed. Good job, guys. Get out there. We're also
All right.
treasonous, though, so be careful.
Bite his
All right.
fucking head off. Let him fucking go.
Come on, let's go.
You
I'm escorting
fucking
the kids, so
animals.
so they know.
Make him walk out like a man, slacks, huh?
Come on.
I'm giving the Dini to
pretty
walk
much.
through the goddamn car.
1 year.
Mhm.
1 year,
And-
125,000.
125. All right, sounds good.
4 on parole.
We're gonna, if you guys could stay here, we're gonna have people escort you guys out wherever you guys need to.
Okay. Yeah, I just have my car outside, so.
Okay, yeah, let me take it.
Dude, I'm like invisible, chat.
We'll come back.
I'm gonna tweet that out, chat.
I don't think.
The benefits of being a woman. Everyone just ignores you. Thumbs up.
Your Honorable Judge Angel, I have a question.
What's up? What's going on?
So I recently won an appeal where my firearms license was taken away from me.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
The
staying
PD
here
did not
with you
contest
guys.
the charge, and I want my firearms license back to me. I won the appeal. The PD did not contest any of the charges,
Okay.
and I want my license reinstated.
What's happening, Robin? You want to talk? Oh yeah, I need to speak to you. That's for your
receive my last
fucking out-of-pocket comment that you made.
Mhm.
Why'd you say it?
Because I believe it, and I thought I was
Where's it on the docket?
just whispering.
It's holy shit! One second.
You believe it? I understand that.
Fired.
That
Is
being
on
said,
Okay.
generally,
Very first felony that I ever received.
you need to keep those thoughts to yourself. I know you're
the
relatively still
representing
pretty recent to
kidnapping.
having a license.
No, I
You gotta keep
understand
these
it.
thoughts to yourself,
I
and-
thought they were being kept to myself. Well, kept to behind the bar, but
Play it
they
safe.
weren't.
Don't do it in the courtroom. Just play it safe in the future, right?
Mhm.
I am not telling you not to think those things.
Bobby.
I'm not telling you that
Will
you
do.
are right or wrong.
Hey, Bobby.
Fair enough.
I listen to the judge, Bobby.
Hey, so there's a specific note actually here that you have to buy your license again and you don't get it reinstated.
What the fuck you mean I gotta buy it? Why?
That's what it
That
says
doesn't make
here.
any sense.
Bobby, you're rich.
You were expunged recently, and then
but that doesn't
Crane
matter, even if I
Crane
was- even if
said, Judge Crane,
is
Justice
that
Crane, you know,
Julio?
the Chief Justice, the big guy, he
Yeah,
said
yeah, I just
that
wanted to
Bobby
address
can get
it
his
before I
license
wasn't
back
gonna,
by
you know,
purchasing
sit
and do
there
not
and
reinstate
talk
it
about an open court
without him
hearing.
What do you
purchasing.
that makes no
where,
sense. If that
you
was
know,
my
It means you have to
original
buy your
fel-
license again, Bobby.
No. If that was my
Yeah, fair
original felony and I got it
I-
contested, why
Take
do
it
I
up
gotta
with
give the
Crane.
state another
Take it up with
$25,000?
Crane. I didn't. Take it up with Crane.
I want a
He's
gun
my
license.
boss at the
Show
end of the
me
day. I can sell you, and it's $25,000. Okay,
What?
it's $25,000. Are you ready for the bill? Where are you going, Bobby? I'm ready to give you your license back.
He spent all his money on an expensive sports car.
Oh, that was stupid of him.
Yeah.
You know, the nice thing about being a woman is people just ignore you.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
So it's great.
happens on radio all the time. I feel terrible for it.
Yeah, but it's got a benefit here. You see, they just ignored me. He took all the aggro.
Just
for
yell
it.
at Norman.
Yeah.
I feel like he had a point, but
I've been getting yelled at for 2 weeks about this case, and the amount of fucking people drinking the Soze juice is insane.
There's a lot to consider.
I mean, I was drinking the soda juice a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you, Buns.
But it's
I mean, some of his points. No, I'm just not gonna go into it.
And the legislation aspect,
Listen,
Or,
he's
the
clearly a
jurisdiction
deranged.
aspect?
He's clearly a deranged asshole. But there
I mean,
is
I
some
get that,
pretty
yeah.
serious gaps in the Constitution that need to be filled. So
and I agree that, but like, what he did was literally like, I don't know.
yeah, by letter of the law, it was treason. I don't disagree. So that's why we ruled the way that we
But
did.
was I pushing it in bad faith? No. I mean, the dude literally pulled a fucking. He's doing criminal acts, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree. There's a reason that we ruled the way that we did.
that's beside the point.
So, can I get walked out to my car?
Ride. I mean, yeah, we could try. I think they're chasing everybody, so I'm just I'm
That's
waiting
safe.
for.
Safe for me.
All right. We gotta
Yeah,
dip out of
just
here.
saying.
I have a
I'll
gun.
with you in due time. Yeah, I also have a gun.
Pull it out.
Okay.
All right, cool. Let's get out of here. Perhaps I can change in our chambers first. Maybe look a little bit different or something.
If you want.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna tank most of the aggression here. So.
Yeah, well, you see, that's like I was mentioning to Bones. The nice thing about being a woman is they completely forgot I even existed. So.
How could they ever forget you?
It's pretty easy. I mean, they didn't even acknowledge me. So.
Please get it off this channel so we can organize transport. All right, I think there's more cops down here. Yeah, there is.
Oh,
Okay, you're gonna
cool.
put it away.
Dude.
You're gonna put your gun away now.
That's my judge. That's my judge right there.
That's right. On smoke.
Adams, put your gun away now. There's actual cops besides just me.
All right.
Do you need to ride,
Where's your
Adams?
car parked?
It's just to the right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and have the entrance to the courthouse locked down. We're gonna bring
Chad, what's something I could say to him, Chat? Thank you. I appreciate that.
She was talking to me.
Oh.
Talking to my big guns.
No.
What is something I could say to Soze, Chat? Fuck. It's
don't look
it's
cool at
this
all.
way, Bones.
Dude, what the fuck?
Okay. I'll follow you.
I look cool.
The salute, dude.
Why are you being
Oh, he's
so
gone. I already
mean?
sent him up. No, I missed my salute chance. No, I missed
Hi.
it.
Thank you.
I was gonna salute him, Chat.
Thank you, Sammy.
I missed my chance.
All right, rooftops are clear. That's pretty good. Adams, are you getting a ride with Angel? You just go into the apartments?
Yeah, I'm just going back to my apartment.
Okay. I'm gonna grab my car and I'll help escort you. 1 second. I'm grabbing it from the Davis
Okay.
parking lot. Actually, can you give me a ride there so I don't
Yeah, where is it?
fucking drive by? Just the impound lot, the old impound lot right next door to Davis PD.
Okay.
This is what you drive?
Yeah. You like it?
I was expecting like a coquette or something. I don't know. Like
What do you mean?
maybe like a Corvette. I don't know. You were always the Corvette person.
That's behind me now, you
What
know?
the hell happened to you?
What do you mean the hell happened to me?
You drive a. This is like a soccer mom car. Oh, right here. Oh.
That's rude. Where'd we go? He lost his head? Where did Norman go? I don't know. I'm gonna go back inside till he comes back then, I guess. The turtle, thanks for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate you. What the? Well, it looks like I missed my chance, chat. Did Siobhan's kidnapping fetish rub off on Angel? Nah, Angel had the kidnapping fetish way before Siobhan. Back with the bovine shit. She been like that, guys. I got my phone back. That's CG right there, chat. Trooper shit, sad face. Kylie have a character not be a Freakazoid challenge impossible? Mary Angel's not a Freakazoid, chat, okay? Listen, she just likes to be kidnapped, so what's wrong with that? What's Freakazoid about that, guys? Angel's a regular-ass normal person, okay? She walked on the beach and barked. Man, frick you guys, dude. Man, frick you guys, dude. Listen, you guys act like you wouldn't want to get walked on a leash and bark, okay? Y'all are frontin', okay, chat? Angel hooked up with Zombie Hutch. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I'm sad, chat. I was hoping to get more RP out of that. Don't get me wrong, it's still a fun case. I was just hoping to do more, that's all. Maybe I'm just delusional. I was hoping for like some throwbacks to old Trooper shit or some stuff. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. Alright, how much more parts do I have left? We're running pretty low from my understanding. That's 3? 1, 2, 28, 14. Yeah, so that's 3. I got 2 of these. One, 2, 3, 4. Wait, no, it's 2 of each. 1, 2. Okay, the next up we have two of these. One of these, one of these. Man, we're just blowing through materials like fucking nothing, huh? It's kind of cool though. Any bets on if the van has 0 parts left? I'm gonna be kind of panicked if it has nothing left. I'm gonna be pretty nervous about that. Okay. I'm gonna need to make a panic purchase of mats. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, chat. I'm actually pretty disappointed how we were completely ignored. That's all we have left, chat. Look. I'm kind of sad about that. Not gonna lie, I was expecting a not guilty verdict. I mean, if it was my case, I probably would have done not guilty, but that's just because Angel's kind of stupid in some ways. Alright, let's go load this up. Why was this in the backyard? That's why I parked it for safety. $20,400 smackaroonies. Okay. So that means that everything that we make from here on is profit. So those 16 sets. 19,000 plus. So once we sell everything, 31,200 in terms of profit. For just basically today alone, $32,000 in profit. That the company made, not even including what the mechanics made. The mechanics made an extra like 60 grand on top of that, so. That is great, isn't it? I see big material orders coming. Me too. It's gonna be time. We're gonna have to make them. Alright guys, well thanks for hanging out. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream and go eat my fried rice. It's fucking 10 p.m. I've been live for 12 hours, dude. Alright, well. Thanks for hanging out, Buzz. I had a great time today. Hope you guys did too. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, join the Discord so you can hang out with us off stream and all that good stuff. You are all amazing. Thank you again for everything, chat. Where am I sending you guys to? KZ? Coil? Coil so we can salute? Yeah, good. Guys, salute Coil, okay? Give Coil some super salutes. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and join the Discord so you can hang out with us off stream and all the good stuff. I will see you on the next one. I'm gonna go get some sleep. I'm fucking cooked. You take care, guys. Okay. Bye, loves. See ya. I want to play this song instead. I like this song more.
As my time